From Plant Lab in Austin, Texas, this is Stacker News Live!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name's Car. I'm with my BFF, Keyan.
Wow.
How's it going?
That is like the sickest intro, the most ill intro I've ever. You lack all of the pizzazz.
I know. It sucks, dude.
Pizzazz free.
Yeah, I'm not the best person to be around when I'm sick. People say that I'm like the worst person to be around because I get angry. I don't know if that's true or not.
You like lack the energy to be nice. Yeah. Is it draining to be nice?
No, I think I just like am such a baby when I get sick. Do you know what I mean?
You just want to be taken care of. You want to be cradled.
Yeah, pretty much. Dude, my mom was awesome. Like growing up, she would just like take care of us when we were sick.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It was amazing. But I don't know. I think I just all the traveling and then not enough sleep, I think. And caught up to me yesterday. I just all day, dude. I was just sore. A lot better today, but
you're sore or your throat was sore?
Throat, sore, everything.
All right.
Stuffy head.
So we got a little respiratory thing going on. It'll be interesting to see how many of us
Maybe
get
I
sick.
die. Maybe I die. Maybe there is no Stacker News Live next week. This could be the last Stacker News Live.
Stacker News. It won't be Stacker News Live. It'll be Stacker News Dead.
Stacker News Afterlife.
Stacker Afterlife.
It's just you frequencied in.
Yeah, you're like a transparent light thing.
That would be hilarious. How was your week?
My week was pretty good, I think. I think a lot was happening with things. I was mostly working on wallet, trying to make a non-custodial wallet UX that doesn't suck.
Gosh, dude, that sounds hard.
Yeah, but it's fun because it is hard. And so doing that right is going to be very satisfying once we get there. But it's a lot of effort from both EK and I.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just been traveling. We went to Mexico City to look at some.
Is it all your relatives?
No. Look at some stuff for the Plub Lab thing. And then what else?
What's going on?
Back from
Rich. You guys opening a banana farm?
We're still talking. And then the other thing was come back from retreat. That was really cool. I wish I would have like spaced it out. I wish I just went to the retreat and then came back here. It probably would have been much better.
Had a retreat from your retreat.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then it's just been a busy week. It feels like there's been 2 weeks in 1 week for me. That makes sense.
Traveling will do that. It does feel like that because changing locations frequently makes it seem like a lot more time has gone by. Yeah.
Yeah. Having had time to reflect, I've just been taking medicine and stuff.
What kind of medicine you got? You got any good stuff? You got some
there.
scissor?
I got some lemonade.
Lemonade scissor.
Sipping on some lemonade. Lemonade's good, dude. Anyways, we're going to jump into the top 5 stories. You've never seen this crazy show before. It's called Stacker News Live. I'm a little bit more energetic, but this is Car on a really boring level. So we're going to be a really boring show today.
Tell us if you like this Car version of Car better.
Dude, I was talking to somebody today. They were like, Stacker News Live would be a snooze fest if it wasn't for your energy. I was like, what? It's like, dang, I didn't know that.
People
say that.
People need to sleep, though. Like, it's important that they, like, if we're the Bitcoin podcast that puts people to sleep, that differentiates us. We exist in a niche. Anyway.
You never seen this show before? We cover the top 5 stories on Stacker News Live, the front page of Bitcoin. Go check it out, stacker.news. It's free to sign up. Doesn't cost anything. You get free sats and you learn on the way. The first top story is Joy of Compounding. This is from Carl B. Menger, May 22nd, Bitcoin territory, 45 comments, 15,000 sats. What's this?
Yeah, I mean, so what I think Menger's last post was about, optionality. And so this is kind of roughly related to that, and that, these kind of, it's almost like these meta life things, these meta concepts you want to become familiar with that you can apply to a generic life. and improve it. So get more optionality is good. But in this case, he's talking about leverage and in particular, and describes all the benefits of leverage applied to several aspects of your life, whether your health, your finances, knowledge in particular. I like the metaphor he uses here with knowledge, where it's kind of like you're filling up. Your mind is like a glass you're filling up, and if you're filling it up with bad information, reading bad news, bad articles, around the road, having bad conversations, you're getting like a dirty, murky, muddy water. And then all of your thoughts are filtered through that murky water. And instead he says, if you do it right, you get like a clear, crisp glass of Texas spring water.
This is true.
Yeah.
Something we talk about all the time on this pod, Keyan.
We do talk about water a lot.
We talk about that. We talk about being aware of what your senses are. Your senses.
The frequencies
that are coming in.
Frequencies are your senses.
Yeah, if you're engulfing all the horror of the world and doomer scrolling and all that kind of stuff, well, guess what? That's what you're gonna output.
Yeah, you'll be a doomer scroller.
Yeah,
but you can use compounding by improving your information intake just a small amount every day, and before you know it, you're reading, I don't know, War and Peace. You're reading Russian classic literature. You're reading American classic literature. You're watching films.
Yeah,
real things that they wouldn't even call movies. They're so intelligent. They call them films. Those would be the things you'd be doing eventually. If you're compounding. Anyway, he talks about it with relation to finance too, which is where we're most familiar with compounding. But you can apply it to anything. Skills. In his knowledge section, I believe he gets into that, and then talks about how it kind of goes in the other way with the hedonic treadmill thing.
What's that?
Hedonic treadmill is where you get if you splurge, if you indulge in some new pleasure, at some point it stops becoming pleasurable and you need another level of pleasure. And so you're on this treadmill of ever increasing.
It's called hell.
Yeah, that's the hedonic treadmill, aka hell.
There's like a thing, I forget the story or whatever, but like apparently like when you go to hell, whatever it is that you love doing that you like were really you just described there hedonistic about that, you would be doing that for the rest of your time in hell. Yeah.
Okay, so if you like humming.
No, let's say hypothetically like you were just like addicted to something or drugs or whatever, and all you did was love, and your whole life all you did was just drugs, and you could never find your way out of that. And well, guess what happens? You spend the rest of eternity just doing that.
What if you're addicted to Bitcoin?
This could be it too.
You go to hell and you have to spend all your days on Stacker News.
Pretty much. Some people are already living though right now.
But that's heaven though.
For some. Anyways. It's good posts. Carl B. Minger. I love how he does this every time.
Yeah, he's got his signature at the bottom, logo, and he's links to all of his past.
Look at this
posts.
We got the top comment from Free TX. It says, "There's a trick a professor in college taught me to combat procrastination. Let's say you're writing a paper and you just aren't really feeling it. Instead of forcing yourself to write, agree instead to just start editing. It can be trivial edit. It's like adjusting paragraph layouts and text spacing." Is that true? You think that works? Before you know it, you'll start writing?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you were just, if you were like, all right, well, I have to sit here and do something. I'd like to do that when I'm trying to get myself to do, say, like read a book or work on something. I'll be like, those are the two things I can do. I can either program this thing or read this book. And you end up kind of choosing one or the other. I'll have to sit at this computer until I start working.
The thing that works for me is just collaborating with people. Like if I don't want to do something, I'll just ask somebody to come do it with me, and then I'll start doing it. That makes any sense?
Yeah, and then you start like the little healthy social competition. Who's contributing more? Yeah.
Next one, for Postronic. He says, "Postmodern society in a nutshell. People alone on their phone reading how-tos about life in general written by uninspired strangers, rehashing ancient philosophy. No offense. What does he mean by that? This feels sarcastic a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's just like, this is everyone knows this. Why we need to learn this now? Teach me something new. I think yeah, I don't know what to. It's like it's like where a technology company comes out with something and they're like, oh, you invented email. They come out with a new messaging service.
Snooze.
Yeah, like
snooze.
Snooze.
Hit the snooze button.
Oh, what does that apply to? I was thinking more of like, when TikTok came out, they're like, oh, you invented YouTube or whatever, and it's like, sure, buddy.
Maybe. I was thinking more like because I was on this retreat last week, so we didn't have any cell phones or TV or nothing. And so we also didn't talk for 15 hours, Keyan. You'd be surprised. You'd be around so many people and just not talk, like not say a word for 15
hours.
Like,
rub each other?
No, you just don't talk. Like you don't talk.
You sit?
You can sit, but you can read or whatever, but you can't talk to people around you. Like this whole thing, right? And
sounds nice.
There was interesting though when I came back into the real world, seeing people just on their phone, just like what? It was wild to me.
Yeah.
And some of the older people in the retreat, they were kind of like, son, this is what we did when I was your age. It's like, oh.
They just didn't talk or they didn't have phones?
They didn't have phones.
Yeah, I'm really curious about what that's like.
It was awesome.
It's one of the things I noticed when it was...
The only thing that sucked is you're worried, though. You're still worried. Those anxieties are still there. Like, oh, what about this? What about this? Did I do this? Like, those are still there. But it sucks, though, because you can't fix anything.
I mean, you can't, you don't have a distraction from the worries.
You should do it. It's basically
I'd
like...
be interested.
It was... I think I told you, it was like going on an ayahuasca trip without ayahuasca.
Well, yeah, it's like maybe the major benefit of an ayahuasca trip we were talking about is actually the retreat part, and less so the ayahuasca, which might actually be true. It's probably very therapeutic to be out there. I've been thinking, if you watch like the Star Wars movies, it's like supposed to be futuristic, but none of them have cell phones. None of them. They're not even.
They use the Force.
They're not even dependent on computers. Like it's kind of interesting. I think when I think about like a post technology world or like a future world, that's not really what I think of, but maybe that is the way it goes, is where we don't actually need the devices in our hands and in front of our faces, strapped to our faces, strapped to our bodies, like they might actually become, but maybe it goes the other way and we make them a more natural part of our lives, and that's kind of interesting.
Maybe Carl B. Minger can write that up. Maybe George Lucas was onto something. The next top story is privacy judo. This is from Siggy47, security territory. 49 comments, 3,925 sats. What's this? Look at this. Oh.
Yeah. He's about to get his head. Oh, he already did get his head. It already got chopped off, but somehow his sword is clean. I don't get it.
That sword doesn't look
like someone else chopped off his head and he just picked it up and pretending like he did it.
Yikes.
Well, it's like, how about get a full shirt? Why do you need a half shirt?
Well, I'm wondering what he's about to do with that head, and who's he looking at next to? Whose head he's going to chop off next?
It looks like he's like looking at his like lover. It looks like he's
like somebody he caught. Oh yeah,
and maybe he caught this guy with his woman. And he's like, I'm going to rip my
Well, it looks like he got
shirt.
beat up first, though.
His head off.
Look at his face. His face looks... Oh, you can't see it on the screen.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's this story about?
Yeah, so if you're familiar with judo, at least my understanding of judo, a little bit of judo that we did in jiu-jitsu was it's basically the study of taking people to the ground, the study of like throws. And a lot of it is using the person's own momentum and body and balance to get them onto the ground. And so you're kind of, even if they're a bigger opponent than you, you're training on how to take them to the ground and use their size to your advantage rather than theirs. And Siggy's saying this about using this metaphor to describe how he's beginning to think about privacy, where using privacy preserving services might actually paint a bigger target on you than not using them, and that there might be some benefit to going with the flow or using the state's momentum to surveil you, to like, I don't know, I guess allow you just them to surveil you to some extent, and then maybe more move away from using technology at all when you want to be private. He describes like the old mob where they would only talk about business in person. And so maybe the move is to not use privacy preserving tech and instead not use tech at all when you want to be private, because there's like a digital signature to someone attempting to be private online, and there isn't such a signature in person. Like, you're not going to get in trouble for talking to your friend in person yet, without a recording device nearby. But maybe that'll happen too. But I think it's interesting to think about. He describes a situation where he's at the TSA and they want to scan his face, and he's like, well, I could resist that, but now I'm on a list where I resist getting my face scanned, and it's not going to make my life worse than if I just got my face scanned, when them scanning my face has no, at least immediate impact on me, but getting on that list might have immediate impact. And so that's the kind of thinking he's doing.
Yeah. Got Scores with the top comment. It says, I too feel like doing things right in the world of online privacy is almost impossible. Yet I fear the surveillance state has increased to such an extent that doing things like a mafia Don does them isn't as effective as it once was. Cameras are everywhere, and unless we are well prepared to abandon most of the conveniences of daily life, I have a feeling analog solutions will not be as effective as they once were. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if there's an Alexa or whatever, and wherever, the diner you're meeting your fellow capo in the mob, maybe that Alexa is listening to your conversation about your gumas, and which are your mistresses. But I think that's probably true. Is like, it's this whole week, the next 3 top stories are also about privacy, and that there seems to be a bit of a war on privacy, or they've coincidentally come all to head at the same time. Like, that is the current zeitgeist that we're in, as far as like government and technology versus people. And yeah, I'm not sure how it shakes out. I hope we do win. Did you watch Tucker Carlson had the Blackwater CEO on? Did you see that?
Blackwater? Who's Blackwater CEO?
Blackwater. You remember the like contractor they used in Afghanistan? The government contractor, like the military contractor.
Was Blackwater?
And so they're like a private security. Anyway, he had the CEO on, and his latest like startup is a phone dedicated that allows you to like has like kill switches and like non-surveillance stuff on. Like, so this is on that guy's mind, and he's actually pretty paranoid about all the big tech surveillance, and is pretty serious about it. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting, but this seems to be on everyone's mind a lot. We even in the next stories, we'll get into how it's more widespread, the concern about privacy, than even Bitcoin.
Yeah, I got Darth Coin. He says, as I always said, what is online life is public, what is offline life is private. Get used to having 2 lives, one for public, one for private. I actually agree with Darth on this. I think he's exactly right. I've been saying this for the longest time too. I think you need to have 2 identities, and the more multiple identities you can have, the better, I think. I mean, there's a reason.
Which identity are we getting?
No, I think you should have multiple identities. You should have an like he says, a online life identity, and then a private life identity. And if you can have a 3rd identity, get the 3rd one too.
What would you do?
Which is like a 3rd one where no one even knows you're that person. People think you're this person, but you're actually this person.
You go to Mexico and you don that identity while you're there. No one knows, because no one's there to and then you're there.
No, but I'm saying,
I know.
I'm just saying that it just, and I've been saying this for the longest time. I think he said it earlier here. You shouldn't be having conversations near phones or anything like that. Just expect everybody to know about it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what you, it's kind of what you put on your computer. Expect everybody to see that. Expect everybody to know it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but that
when you
kind of
talk.
sucks though, because like a lot of our lives.
But that's just the world we live in, Keyan.
I
You
know.
can't do anything
I know.
about it. You can either. I mean, I know that we live in that kind of world now. You know,
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. It's just communism won, man.
Oh, I don't know if it's won yet.
It's winning.
It's certainly. I mean, I don't know.
What was the question you asked me though? Did I know about the phone? No, I didn't know about that phone.
Oh no, just about that interview. I thought it was really fascinating.
No,
to hear
it sounds cool.
A military contractor about what he thinks of the world as someone who ran a huge military contractor and did like private defense, worked with the government closely and all these things.
I can see us going to that's why I think the very real scenario where we actually head to is more Blade Runner future than anything else. I actually think we're going to a Blade Runner future. I don't know if you've ever seen the Blade Runners movies. I feel like it's going to be more that future where you'll have everything being monitored, everything being surveilled, all that kind of stuff. People tracking people. But there will be this more of a cyber type of
resistance.
Yeah, to it all. And then people will make their own chips. And then you'll have this totalitarian, like Wallace Corp that's making all the chips. And
I don't think that kind of stuff succeeds. I think when you look at like the motivations on that kind of stuff, it's very
nihilistic.
It's very gross, and it tends to. The people aren't motivated by like a deep sense of purpose. They're motivated by, in most cases, some like financial gain as a result of a political relationship or something. So I just don't think it prevails for very long. I think it can, perhaps for a lifetime, but I don't see that as like a terminal state for humanity. I don't think we stay that way for a long time.
I don't know, man. You've seen that guy? He's online. It's like trying to age younger or something like that.
Oh yeah,
the
vampire looking dude.
Yeah, there's just gonna be those guys are all over the place. They're just gonna multiply. There's gonna be more of those guys in the future than they're gonna be more of us. We're a dying breed.
I mean, but like half the Bitcoiners I know smoke cigarettes and like a hearty drink and a meal. So yeah, definitely the guy who's eating oatmeal 5 times a day.
This is the vampire right there. That's the vampire.
The guy who got slayed, or the
guy who's slain? He's the guy.
I mean, it definitely has the same kind of weird glow.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell
but
you.
he doesn't look nearly as young. But that guy's ridiculous. But he's also self-aware, he was the founder of Braintree, which was this
the payments app.
Yeah. That's where he started, and now after his exit or whatever, he's turned into a supple man who's his looks like he's already embalmed, and he's just trying to keep his embalming.
It's kind of like those other guys from that area, but I don't know, man. Teach their own. Everybody's on their own journey, Keyan. Yeah,
I don't think he's a bad guy. He's just a weird.
Everybody's on their journey. The next top story is going dark. This is the war on encryption is on the rise. Mullvad posts. Safari, 15 comments, 2,857 sets. Privacy territory. Is this?
Yeah, this is quite a long post, but it describes the war, more or less the war on encryption that has been taking place in the EU. Under the guise of protecting children. And so this is probably the most effective tactic that governments have against encryption to date, or they stumbled upon this or whatever, or it seems to be pretty effective at getting public support for it. But basically the government mostly argues that we shouldn't be allowed to encrypt communications, and they should be allowed to see everything because we might be transmitting things as illicit as porn or child pornography. And Anyway, it's a very detailed, goes into the full journey here. There was like legislation in the EU called chat control 2.0. It has Ashton Kutcher embroiled in it because a company that he is involved with called Thorn is like behind the scenes, which is an American corporation, is behind the scenes trying to push this legislation through in the EU because they claim to have technology that allows them to look at encrypted data and determine the contents of the encrypted data, which is not actually true or possible, but that's a claim they make, and that there's a claim they're using to try to get the legislation through. Anyway, that attempt failed. This is quite a long post. That attempt failed, and now they're going back to extending the existing laws, Chat Control 1.0, which is what the author of this calls it, which require the companies themselves to report on their own customers, and like extending the powers of that. And that, it links back into the Snowden revelations and the state of mind of the intelligence community around that period of time where they're, describing that ends. That's why it's called Going Dark, is that's the way Comey described, I think the FBI chief at the time described, or director, describes the situation of not being able to surveil people as going dark. Anyway, you can kind of see the insides of what is going on with the people trying to push this stuff and where it's actually coming from. It seems to be motivated mostly by American corporations that want to sell the government software to do it. It's
so interesting to see everybody's so keen on giving the government anything and everything so they can give them money in return. It's so fiat, bro. Man, we live in such a fiat society. Here's some data. Let me sell it to my government so they can give me some money for it.
What's weird to me is like these are new. The government acts like they're trying to reclaim
Everybody
old
wants
rights.
Government contracts.
Yeah,
it's so sad.
The government when they present this stuff, it's like they claim almost the technology is robbing them of rights they used to have. But they were never able to snoop on our conversations before very well. I mean, they could do wiretapping, but they couldn't do it at this high of a level. And now they're acting like us trying to preserve the privacy that we once had and we all deserve is somehow robbing them of their ability to do their jobs that they've been doing so well for so long. And it's all just kind of nonsense.
You got Kev Pretty says, over the past few months, I've been seeing a ramping of FUD around Signal. Don't misunderstand me. I still have concerns about Signal's governance model. I was very concerned when the founder stepped down and Meredith Whitaker took the reins. I do not share the politics of some of those on the board that have been under scrutiny lately. I think the scrutiny is warranted and we need to remain vigilant. Why is he bringing up Signal?
Because this is all tied in, because that's one of that Signal has been kind of embroiled in these conversations in the EU, because it would be they would be required under these laws to install software on their users' phones that scan their messages on device and report on them and that kind of stuff. And so they've been kind of at the forefront of dealing with this because they don't have any their technology disallows them from the ability to do this on the server.
You got 0x Lamar says, stop using computers that you can't fully control. I ditched Windows years ago, and as soon as budget permits, we'll buy a Pixel and migrate to a Graphene OS. I don't know. I think it just goes back to me. It's like there's a lot of people you can sell to. Big government doesn't have to be your first option. And
it's the easiest one, though.
I know, but it's so fiat, dude. Like you're feeding the beast. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yes, you're getting money for your company or whatever, but you're feeding the beast, and you're just making this more rampant.
Yeah, but
It's,
if you have enough fiat, I think people begin to think it's their beast. Like they're in control of the beast now. They have a say in what the
because
beast
they
is.
print the money. So it's just a weird devilish Ouroboros. It's gross. People should have better sense of
duty to their fellow human beings. You would hope, but that's not the way. Let's see. There appears to be a minority.
It's not that it's not the way. It's just have become the way. Is what happened, and somewhere in time it has become that. It's just become very fucking disgusting. That's all I gotta say about that.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot to say about it.
The next top story is privacy, human rights, and tornado cash. This is Molly White, privacy territory, May 23rd. Still stacking after all these years. 11 comments, 5,361 sats. What's this?
Yeah, so this is another privacy-focused post. This is from Molly White, who's actually a pretty vocal critic about cryptocurrencies and blockchains in general, oftentimes from a privacy angle, saying that these technologies, which, claim to be more private, are often less private than, at least in terms of the guarantees you get from the service providers about your privacy. That's her typical shtick. And, also the scam. She's extremely concerned about consumer protections in terms of all the crypto scams. In many ways, she sounds an awful lot like a Bitcoiner in that regard, although I don't think she would consider herself such. But she describes here the concerning, like the results of the Tornado Cash, or the judgment in the Tornado Cash. The developer got sentenced, I think, to 64 months in prison. And it appears, the judge appears to rule that simply writing privacy preserving code that criminals use is worthy of punishment. And that's what she's kind of writing about, in addition to like the background of all of these other privacy invasions that are going on, that it looks like we're losing even more privacy, even more financial privacy, and certainly shouldn't be attacking people writing, putting in jail people who are writing code to help people preserve their privacy.
Yeah. She says, according to United States prosecutors, Tornado Cash has been used to launder billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency connected to cryptocurrency hacks, including hundreds of millions of dollars by North Korea's Lazarus Group. Prior to the criminal charges, the mixture was sanctioned by the Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, in August 2022. There's no question whatsoever that it was heavily used by criminals to try to dodge attempts by law enforcement, crypto companies alike, to trace or free stolen funds. Prosecutors in the U.S. are going to be arguing that Tornado Cash founders Roman Storm and Roman Semenoff not only wrote the software to help anonymize cryptocurrency transactions, but more importantly, ran and profited from the business.
Yeah, and there's some other interesting things in here I hadn't heard of. Like, I guess when Binance was indicted, or that hearing where they took down CZ, I guess they had to give over all of their customers' financial records to the government. And she describes how, even like at the, if Binance is like a bank-like institution, that is illegal at a bank for that to happen. Usually you need a subpoena to get such information from a bank, but even people who are using cryptocurrency don't have the same protections as they do when they're using a bank. Is one. She kind of continues to drive home the point that people using crypto are actually less private than they realize, and now they can't even use technology to gain better privacy. And yeah, it's just kind of a loss for financial privacy, which is, she describes, even in a traditional bank, isn't very good.
Yeah, Gray Ruby says, I think if she stopped conflating Bitcoin and crypto, she would get it. Everything she says about crypto is pretty spot on. But at this point, I think she is too perversely incentivized to not get Bitcoin. That being said, good to see her putting her bias aside to advocate for privacy. Long-winded, I guess, compliment. Great, Ruby.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, gotta smack him around.
Got
for
bell
saying
curve.
that,
He
so.
said, women commenting about technology and currency equals snooze alert, Keyan.
Wow.
And then this guy says, dude, seriously.
Yeah, still stacking. The OP comes in with
See?
counter take.
The next top story is leaving my SN bubble. Actually, this is the final top story. Final top story of the week.
Sure is.
Leaving my Stacker News bubble. Bitcoin meetup at the Melville Deli. Bitcoin territory, Sigga 47, May 20th. 49 comments, 13,000 saps. What's this?
Yeah, so Siggy has written about the Melville Deli before, because they accept Bitcoin, and he went there, and they recently threw a Bitcoin meetup, and it's on Long Island, and he describes the experience of being there. The owner of the deli, they provided food and drinks for free, and Siggy got to meet a bunch of Bitcoiners. Said some of them drove over 50 miles to attend.
What?
Yeah.
Just to meet Siggy? Not
to meet Siggy, but that was part of it. I mean, I don't think they knew he would be there, but they wanted to go and talk about Bitcoin with other people. He said he met one guy who calls himself a full-time Bitcoin evangelist, and he was wearing a what the fuck ? 1971 shirt. And had a lot to say about the Nixon shock. He said he met a woman who was a retired New York City public school teacher who was wearing a Bitcoin t-shirt and orange. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see the diversity of Bitcoiners that exist. He said someone brought a wampum bracelet, which at one point was used by this currency before they were colonized, and the owner gave a proof of work speech using a sandwich, shared a cautionary tale about Bitcoin mining, which he got into before, and started a fire and took down the electric service in Pennsylvania. He said there were some local cigar people there. Another woman who is interested in mining in Kazakhstan because she has relation.
Dang, he pretty much doxed everybody. He's just going down the list.
I mean, he didn't say anyone's name.
I know. It's just
the guy who was wearing the 1971 shirt. When Siggy asked him what his name was, he said, "Good, nice try, Fed," to him.
Oh wow!
So
see, gotta be careful out there.
Yeah, and real.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I know Siggy's an older gentleman, so he probably doesn't know these things, but
not old to me.
Pretty cool seeing him get out there and meet him. Meet other Bitcoiners where you're at.
Yeah, it's awesome to.
He still hasn't shown a picture of like the sandwiches or anything there.
Oh, you can probably go to melvilledeli.org. Click on the link.
Siggy,
you want to see a real?
Yeah, next time.
Taken.
Yeah, show us some sandwiches.
I think he did in his original post. But if you go to related posts, it might be there.
We got Scorsese with the top comment. He says, "Real life Bitcoiners are the best. Gonna have to check out the Melville next time I'm on Long Island. Great write up. When the only way people get Bitcoin is buying it with fiat, spending Bitcoin feels foolish. Once they have a chance to earn a few cents, spending feels like a more reasonable option." Yep, I think so. Hopefully, I think everything's still alive right now. I disconnected for a second, but might have missed part of that if you're listening to the audio version of this. Sorry, but I think we're good.
Whoopsies.
We're gonna jump into Keyan. Keyan, this is your favorite story of the week. Using graphene without a SIM for 4 years.
It was hard picking them, but this was the next top story, so I picked this one. But it was a good one.
What's this about?
This one is so Null Count describes using Graphene OS's primary mobile OS and living without a SIM card for 4 years. And awesome. What that was like, what was motivated by, said it was motivated initially by contact tracing and the realization that these tech companies were snooping on literally everyone to be able to tell people about COVID and prevent the spread of COVID. And so he decided to back up from having a normal mobile OS and remove the SIM card. And he did that and started living off of, public Wi-Fi and that kind of thing.
Cool. We're gonna do a workshop next week on the graphene stuff, but it's good, dude. It's I think it's the way forward. That one over there has graphene on it. I'm gonna wipe it again to get a cleaner experience from it, but so far so good. I don't think you need a SIM these days. Just run Tor and
Tor doesn't replace a SIM though.
Well, you can run Tor on there and connect to Wi-Fi and does everything you need it to do.
Yeah, but he describes in here actually pretty well the downsides of not having a SIM card and how it can be inconvenient. And while you can get by with it, you do lose a fair degree of convenience, is what he argues. So it's not, you actually are sacrificing something, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
And he described, he's hopeful that maybe we'll get some kind of mesh networking.
Yeah, I think mesh networking is probably the way.
Yeah, but we have to be super motivated because it lacks the incentives.
Got Nicolo Tesla says, I'm hopeful for distributed money mesh technology like LoRa. We are going to build it, looking into it. SIM-less user here too. Yeah, I think mesh sounds about right. John Doe says, in some ways reading your post felt like describing my past. I took a ham license to communicate without spyware. In some sense, with ham waves, I am being monitored constantly since encryption is forbidden by law, but at least it doesn't go to a server storing all the data about me. Interesting. Totally agree that in the long run, we feel some sacrifices. For example, to call a taxi or order food in a foreign country without the particular app is not possible. I look for alternatives. I found some, but it is not developed at all.
Startup idea, DoorDash ham radio edition.
Got Tony says, been doing that for about a year now. Highly recommend. It helps also having a hotspot for yourself. There's some good ones out there. The key is to separate the SIM network from the general purpose phone that ties heavily into SIM. Yeah. Well, it's the pings, right? It's finding out where you're at. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I think this kind of stuff is really interesting. This time period. There was also a meta that I forgot to tell Car about, but we don't need to really go too deep in it. It's just It's just we have a remind me bot now.
Which one's
Yes, and release. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So now you have a remind me bot. We are all Satoshi added it. They also did the delete bot. It functions very similarly. You can just, in any posts or reply or comment or whatever, you can say remind me in whatever period of time, and you'll get sent a notification
in any post
at a future date.
In any post?
Yeah. I mean,
so
if you
just go here and do what?
If you say, remind me in 1 minute. Oh, you're a non right now, so it actually won't work.
But I could.
If you were logged in, you could put it right there, and you could say 1 day, and tomorrow at this exact same time, you would get a notification about it.
And what does delete do?
Delete allows you to delete something at a future date. Say I want, like self-destruct message. I can send you a reply that says, Car, meet me behind the Chipotle. And delete in 1 day because I know you've seen it in 1 day.
That's cool. About time, dude. So I could send direct messages on somebody's profile.
That's been there for like a year.
But now you can use it a way to where you can send DMs basically.
Sort of, but it's public until it deletes.
Yeah, that's cool.
DMs will happen later, but
that's really cool. Just want to share this by Pleb Poet. She made a post about her poems. Look at that, Keyan. Look how amazing that photo looks. What do you think?
What do I think about her poem? I haven't had a chance to read it today. She just shared it today.
Yeah, I shared it today.
What do you think about the poem? You're the one it's your favorite story.
I read it really briefly. It is very depressing. But depressing stuff is good, I think. It can be.
I'll send her your notes.
But yeah, check it out, Stackers. Pleb Poet. She makes all the clips and all the YouTube stuff that you see online. Also, I should mention, hit that subscribe button and follow us and hit the bell.
Wow, we're doing this. I think I used to try to do this as a joke, and you were like, "No."
Well, there's so much effort being put onto all this stuff now. I might as well.
Anyways, I mean,
yeah. And then the next one, happy 24 Bitcoin Pizza Day, Keyan. That was 2 days ago.
Yeah, I didn't have pizza. I had a burger. But
that looks like terrible pizza.
That actually looks like real pizza. That's like
Oh,
what
is that
pizza
what
once
that-
was before
looks
most
terrible
people
too.
started eating Domino's. I don't think you understand
Oh, okay.
pizza.
Apparently I don't.
I mean, it's like a Neapolitan
Hey, that's fine.
style pizza. Jim, look at Jim would know.
Jim,
would,
is this
that,
a-
look,
is
that
this a
looks
real
like a real
pizza?
pizza, right? Dude. Yeah. Look at that. He should know.
Thanks, Jim, for the pizza coverage.
Yeah, we should have Jim on every week to discuss what's new in
His
pizza.
favorite pizza. Cool. I think that's all the stories.
I think it is too. I think we did it. Should we cover your favorite subject in the world?
Oh, the most boring segment in Bitcoin.
The best segment in Bitcoin.
Top stackers. Top stackers of the week.
Super stat segment.
Top stackers of the week. Just Coob, RSync.
Yeah, RSync shared some great links this week. But yeah, lots of
David
risers.
W. EK. Kepbird.
No,
The usual suspects.
Oh, we got some
The
new ones in
usual,
there.
the usual suspects. Then we got the top Cowboys.
Look at that. I'm still in second
Number two.
place. I don't know whenever
Elvis
I'm going to get
Mercury,
there. Yeah,
Jerry
Elvis Mercury's
Garcia.
kept it up pretty
Dude,
good.
I was listening to Jerry Garcia, dude.
Jamming out.
Dude, Grateful Dead. I forget which song it was. It was so good, man. Gosh, it was so good.
Were you
Anyways.
sick? Or were you
Yeah,
like,
I
you
can't
were
remember it
riding
now.
that?
I can't remember it now. It was so good. Try to find it. Anyways. And then we got It's That Madness.
Well, it's days now.
It's That Madness days.
It's not, but it's not million. It's
It's
not
too-
a million either.
I still like going here. See who's winning. There you go.
Man,
like
I'm
this
all
nerd
I'm almost
ninja.
in 10th place. Blood Poet on the rise.
Van Allen, look at that. Is that Darth? Oh, look, Darth.
Darth's there. He's taking a break, maybe. From
Dude, did I tell you I
building
saw the Star Wars Kenobi? Darth Vader goes pretty hard in that.
Oh
In
yeah,
the show. Have you seen that one?
yeah. I saw that one. You mean the one where he like grabs a ship and like takes it?
Yeah, dude.
That's like Darth. That is like most powerful. I feel like as far
Darth
as
Quinn,
we've
why aren't you
seen.
reviewing these? And I feel like Darth should be reviewing some of these shows. Should be getting his take on it. I would be interested to know what's his favorite Star Wars movie. You think it's Revenge of the Sith, or you think it's Empire Strikes Back? Probably Empire Strikes Back. He seems like an Empire Strikes Back kind of guy.
Wow, is that an insult?
No, it's a safe assumption.
I see.
Darth, you let us know, Darth.
I just hate Jar Jar Binks. I just don't want.
I think everybody hates Jar Jar Binks.
I just don't know why they did it. That's what makes me so upset about it. It's not so much, I can deal with him and I don't but what is the why?
What was the motivation behind it? I think he was just trying to get like a, one of the funny characters. They just didn't have
a
anybody.
bit of comedic relief.
Yeah, but
they
they
did that in
just-
another series with a robot instead. It was
Yeah.
way better.
Oh. Anyways, that's all we got. Let me read the comments. We got we had one from Blockchain Boog last week. He says, Car un fuego. Oy, me gusta, zap.
Wow.
I didn't know Blockchain Boog was
Dude.
bilingual. He said hi. Vake said hi. So nothing creepy from Vake this week.
Oh,
And
well,
then
that's
we
good.
got
Maybe he's made some friends.
we got this Alejandro says hello.
Lissandro.
Then we got what's it say? The corp serve the government regulars in most cases. What does that mean?
I'm not so sure, but
Signal was one of the first privacy convo apps.
why privacy in quotes though?
Greed feeds the beast. There you go.
Well, takes
Stackers know what's going on, Keyan. Stackers knows.
I guess they do. We're about to party, aren't we? We're going to party.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
today's the Cascader party. Jim's about to launch, and yeah,
You ready? You're gonna dance
I'm
with
probably
me?
gonna go home. I'm really tired.
All right.
That's what happens to you. You get old, you get sick.
Oh no.
Sucks.
You embrace your being old too hard.
I love being old. There's so many great things you see as you get older. You just you're full of knowledge, you know.
I see. You don't want to be like that guy we were talking about, that vampire guy.
I'm glad I'm old, but I'm like very wise. I think if I
Are
was,
you very wise?
Yeah, I'm very wise. Look at all
Is
this.
Is that something a wise person says?
Look at all these gray hairs, all wisdom.
So each one of those counts as a wisdom.
What are you doing this weekend, Keyan?
What am I doing? I'm probably going to continue the work that I'm doing.
Which is what?
Which is more non-custodial wallet, UX stuff.
What's the hardest thing about that? Is it the non-custodial part?
It's mostly making it feel
like non-custodial, like it's custodial?
It's making it feel like it's custodial, like making the experience identical, yet it's not. And so we eat all of the complexity and all of the like non-determinism and settling the payment and stuff in a way that you can't see. And we need to do it extremely well. And eating all of that amounts to complex code, lots of it. And so we need to write lots of complex code well.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing.
Look at EK, man. He's just
so they're hacking.
Guys, won't stop.
Doesn't end. I mean, I think we've gotten a long way. It's just we really need to solidify it because like the whole product will be built on top of what we're doing with this. So
yeah,
it's important. How about you? You're going to be
probably
recovering.
Sleeping. Yeah.
What are your top recovery tips for people out there sick?
Zinc, vitamin C, Tylenol, cold and sinus, Theraflu, and what's the nasal one?
Nasonex?
No, it's like a nasal thing. That one works really good. And then
you like drip your?
No, it's like a nasal spray. Yeah, that one works.
Okay.
And that's it, pretty much. And Caldol, you know.
Do you get your IV? You can do that?
No, I'm not feeling that sick.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. That's a certain level.
That's when you're about to die.
I see.
You go get the vampire IV. All right, cool. Stackers, you go out there this weekend. You find your beast and you feed it.
What? Okay.
Their garden. Yeah.